Now the main difference between the cost of training in India and abroad is when we train in India, the cost to get the CPL is constant. If the flight school have quoted 60 lakh rupees, it will be 60 lakh rupees until something major global event happens. Now when we speak about training in abroad, so if the flight schools have quoted, let's say 70 lakh rupees,
What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back to India's #1 pilot podcast. Happy to see your faces once again. And today's topic is the old topic, that is cost of pilot training. And cost of pilot training has been varying recently significantly. So we thought that it should be covered in today's episode. We are as happy as you or even more to be doing this, all three of us together.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
if you are tuning in, really appreciate you doing so. Thank you. Yeah, cost of pilot training. All right, let's make a clip out of this, and that would be cost of pilot training explained in a minute. Go ahead, Chintan.
Cost of flight training, starting with the medicals, class 2 and class 1 medicals, roughly around 20 to 25,000 rupees, followed by the DGCA ground school, which is roughly around 2 to 3 lakh rupees, depending upon the subjects you choose. Then comes your flight training. Training in India for CPL, roughly around 50 to 70 lakh rupees. Abroad is around 60 to 80 lakh rupees. And then if you have trained from abroad, then there's a conversion flying which you do, which will cost you around 3 to 5 lakh rupees. And then the type rating is around 10 to 15 lakh rupees. Then airline training is around 10 lakh rupees. So if you total up the sum for conventional pilot program in India is roughly around 80 to 90 lakh rupees.
Yeah, up to a crore as well sometimes.
Yeah. And if you do it from abroad, it's roughly around 90 to 1 CR now. And this is significantly increased from the previous cost of pilot training podcast. So that's why we are doing this podcast for the year 2026.
Absolutely. And these costs, like, as it's a range, it's not a fixed number, it's a range. It may be 10-20% higher or lower depending on the flight school, depending on the TRTO and all of those things. And also your personal choices and personal lifestyle choices. That's how it would vary as. So where should, if someone is deciding to become a pilot, should anyone consider flight training in abroad or India? What would be your considerations in order to choose whether to do it on India or abroad?
So to answer this question, what I would suggest is, when is the training going to start?
Right.
That is most important, because I remember speaking with one of the students last year, and he had a budget of around 95 lakh rupees for the cadet pilot program from India. But right now, I think last week only he messaged me again that I'm dropping out of the cadet pilot program because the prices in India have increased. It's around 1.05 to 1.10, including everything.
Right.
So it was like I was already stretching my budget up to 95 lakh rupees, but now I can't stretch more because the training costs have increased. So this was the conversation of 95 lakh rupees for the cadet pilot program in India took place 1 year ago. So
Right.
at that time, he was doing his engineering and he was yet to start. So he was just gathering the information. So now for your question, like to choose whether to go for training in India or abroad. So we have to look at couple of parameters, like when the training has to be started. I'm talking about the flight training, not the DGCA ground school or the medicals. Because as we see in the last 3 months, dollar it have jumped from 92 to 97, almost 97 now. Okay, so if a student was planning to grow in the month of February, and by the time right now, let's say, is in the US and doing his private pilot license, and every month you have to pay around $7,000 to $10,000, right? So now when the rate goes from 92 to 97, the amount of rupees you spend have increased. The amount in dollars is constant, but the rupees is more. So that was something which we cannot predict, because that happened due to a global event which we all know about, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Plus, to add to this question, I would like to give few pointers because as everyone is aware, because of the a war situation which is happening currently in West Asia. Due to that, globally, the crude oil prices have increased, whether it is US or it is India. Because of the increase in price, first of all, if you intend to do flight training in abroad, dollar rate has also increased, plus increase in crude oil price. So that will increase the cost of flight training significantly if you intend to do it in abroad, compared to if you do it in India. If you do it in India, yes, increase in the crude oil cost, that is one factor which will increase the flight training cost, but the effect of increase in dollar rate will not affect the flight training if you intend to do it in India. So these are the factors which have increased the flight training cost almost everywhere if you look at it. So plus the conversion charges are also going to be more, plus RTR exam you anyway have to clear, whether one of the part or both
The
the
whole
parts.
part.
So RTR exam you're not exempted even if you have the RTR from Commonwealth country or in Philippines. So you will need to appear for RTR part 2, which is the transmission with the the exam with transmission. So that is something which you will have to appear for even if you're exempted. So overall, if you have completed all your DGCA exams, if you have completed your medicals and you are ready to start your flight training at this point, you can in mid 2026 something, then for cost cost wise it will be comparatively less if you do it in India.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what we can do is, first we can discuss the cost, the actual cost which is ongoing now, the changes which have happened, and then I think we can give our suggestion where to do flying at the end of the podcast.
Right. We'll also consider the discussing on the word cost, essentially the more philosophical version of it, in a way that is so whenever we study even FCOM, FCDM, anything, there is one primary thing that we go look into is the philosophy of operation, right? Like FCDM mentions philosophy for many things. I recently did the IRPPC, and then whenever IRPPC is there, we brush up the books again. And the word philosophy is used so many times. The reason for it is philosophy is a zoomed out version of what's going to happen, right? So when we look into the word of cost, philosophically, cost is not a number, essentially. Cost is essentially the time in this. Because the pilot salaries, as you may have known, looking into many articles, many pilots making content, pilot salaries haven't changed as much in last 10 years. Pilot salaries have almost remained the same. The purchasing power of that much money has significantly reduced, and the cost of training has significantly increased. So the margin and gap between those two has reduced significantly. So what that does essentially is the time to pay off or recover the amount that has been spent into training increases. Anything that a person wants to buy now, for buying a private jet for Adani and Ambani is probably nothing. They can decide in one day, because it's a small fraction, it's a small percentage of their net worth. So cost is relative. Cost is extremely relative. And how do we relate that is how much time do we spend in order to earn that money. For some, 1 crore is their daily income. For some, 1 crore is their lifetime income, right? So that's how, and we will relate it to considering pilots' earnings. That how much time does it take in order to, like, that kind of money, 1.5 crore if you're doing cadet pilot program from abroad, or doing it 1 crore, 1.1 crore, 1.05 crore if you're doing it from India. How much is that money with respect to time for a pilot? That is also something that we will discuss. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Like time and again, shout out to Chintan's video.
Yeah.
Go look that video up, and Nimesh or Harsh just link that video on either of the side, wherever YouTube lets you do it. Thank you. All right, so let's get into the each one single cost one by one. And the first part was what? Medicals,
Medicals.
right? So cost of medical. Let's dive into detail of cost of medical. So explain the cost of medicals, class 2 and class 1 medicals.
So cost of medical, when we start or when we get a thought for pilot training, it is very important that a candidate should undergo class 2 medical before going for or spending any single penny for any other step in the pilot training. So class 2 medical, it can be done with any DGCA approved class 2 doctors. The list is attached here with under this podcast, so you can go through it. This list is updated as on 2026 June. So as it gets updated later, then you can check the EGCA website for the same. So this list, you can undergo medical from any of the class 2 medical doctors, but I strongly recommend that you should do it with doctors who are even class 1 authorized or approved, so that in case of any medical parameter being here and there, they can give you the correct advice of what procedure or what is the way to go about in order to correct it, and whether it will be acceptable for your further class 1 medical or not. So before going for the medical, you need to do the EGCA registration so that your profile is there on EGCA and you can proceed with the, your file is ready with the EGCA and you can proceed with the medical.
If you are a CNTAA student, we have a team that'll help you creating your EGCA ID.
Yes, absolutely. So class 2 medical, it will take approximately 15,000 rupees at a private medical doctor, and that is performed there itself. So once you clear your class 2 medical, you get CA 35 from the doctor. Once you get CA 35, as per the latest DGCA guidelines, you need not wait for the medical assessment from DGCA before you apply for class 1 medical. So I suggest you can finish your class 1 medical itself once you clear class 2 medical. So then you can apply for class 1 medical. Now class 1 medical, you have either options to do it at the Air Force medical stations, or you can do it at the private medical like hospitals or the private doctors. Okay, and again the same list for class 1 medical doctors is also attached here under. You can check it out. Now again, when we talk about doing medical at the government medical center, that is at Air Force stations, the fees is comparatively very less, about 3,500, compared to if you do it at the private medical centers or hospitals or doctors. So in that case, it can go up to 15 to 20,000 as well. So obviously many people would think that they would apply for the Air Force medical station, but there is one catch here. It is kind of challenging to get an appointment at Air Force stations. That is because Air Force stations are overloaded with a lot of special medical cases and age-related medicals, because of which it is challenging to get an appointment. So that is the reason why you can even try applying at the Air Force medical stations, but you have to apply a month prior to the desired date. So at 12 midnight for the next month, let's say for example you want to apply for let's say today is 20th of June and you want to apply for 20th of July, then you have to apply at midnight on 20th of June. So that is how you need to plan a month in advance for the next month medical, and within few seconds all the slots get booked.
Right.
So that is something which you have to be very prompt about, and again sometimes server issues you have to deal with. Okay,
The point is, yes, the cost of doing medicals at Air Force stations is lesser, but the point is commute nullifies most of those costs unless you are from Delhi or Bangalore, all of those things.
Yeah.
Okay. Second is this medical cost is split into two. One is cost for tests, and second is cost of consultation of doctor. So 15,000 would be split into two. If you are going to some fancy 7-star diagnostic center, they'll charge you for the same test probably 30,000 rupees. And if you are going to, the point is, any diagnostic center that you go to has to be NABL or NABH certified. NABH is the hospital, NABL is a laboratory. Yeah, that's what it
Correct.
is. Both are acceptable. And some of the doctors have their in-house diagnostic centers. Like shout out to Dr. Punita Masrani. Dr. Punita Masrani has her own diagnostic center. Yeah, that's about it.
True. Yes, so that is about the class 2 and class 1 medical
Yeah.
test and the cost for the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Now
once
you
the
talk-
medicals are done, then we move on to the DGCA ground school. So now there's an ambiguity from the students that is it really necessary to join a DGCA ground school? Can I do it by myself and save that money? So first, let's talk about the cost and then let's clear the ambiguity. So when we speak about the cost for DGCA ground school, it depends whether the student decides to train in India or abroad. So let's say if a students decide to train in India, you have to clear 5 DGCA subjects: aviation metrology, air navigation, air regulation, technical general, technical specific. So for those 5 subjects, roughly around 3 lakh rupees, around 3 lakh rupees is the cost. And then someone decides to train abroad: air navigation, air regulation, and aviation metrology. There's also one confusion whether the students have decided whether they want to do training from India or abroad, because most of the students who start their training, they are not sure whether they want to do the training from India or abroad. A good way to start is start with 3 subjects, as it's common for both training in India and abroad, and later on, once you're done with these 3 subjects, then you can move on. If you want to go abroad directly, you can start your flight training. If you decide to train in India, then you can additionally clear those 2 papers and clear your DGCA exams.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, cost for 3 subjects is around 2 lakh rupees, and then for 5 papers is around 3 lakh rupees. And on top of this DGCA exams, now there's one more subject included in the DGCA, which is RTR. So RTR roughly around 25 to 30,000 rupees. So now students have this question that can I study by myself and save those 2 to 3 lakh rupees?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, definitely you can save it, but that will only take a lot of time from you.
Right.
Okay, so now there's 2 things: either we pay by time or we pay by money.
Yeah.
Right? If someone has money, go for DGCA ground classes. They'll help you to study in a structured way. They'll give you proper guidance, and all the concepts will be taught you in a span of 2 to 3 months. You will also be sitting with a group of people who has the same goal that you have, and you will complete your DGCA exams in a span of 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Now, what happens when a student tries to do the DGCA exams by themselves? I'm not saying you cannot clear DGCA exams without any ground classes. Definitely it is possible. The only thing is, time is of essence here, because the sooner you get into the airline, the sooner you start building your hours, and then you gain hours and you climb the ladder, and the sooner you climb the ladder, the more money you make. Yeah,
Absolutely.
because the end goal is that. Yeah.
Correct.
It's also a positive feedback loop, right? Like someone studies by himself or herself, then is not able to clear the exam, then that makes the person feel bad, and then the person starts to question himself or herself that, am I good enough for this? Is this cut out for me? Or all of those things. Those are valid questions. Those need to be answered to yourself before you decide to become a pilot, always. At the same time, because of lack of kind of guidance and a clear roadmap to get to pass the DGCA exams, it is doable, but it is a more bumpy road than it should be.
Yeah.
It's a easier road if you have guidance, if you have if you are surrounded by people who are doing the same thing, if you are instructed by someone who has taught thousands of students in the past. It's much easier to do that way. Definitely, if you want to be saving money, the point is that money essentially is literally 3% to 2 to 3% of what pilot training costs.
And you will end up getting that as your salary in a month
Yeah,
if you
right.
you know, rather
Absolutely,
clear
absolutely.
it
That is
early.
after.
Yeah.
That is
Right.
although after.
Right.
Okay, but what is certain is when you decide to become a pilot, you are gonna end up spending almost a crore. 2 to 3 lakh
True.
rupees is literally 2 to 3% of that money.
Correct.
And if that sets up a good foundation for the pilot training, in my opinion, one should do it. One is it is advisable, in my opinion, to do it. At the same time, it's your choice, your career. The point is, we wish good for your career. That's what it is. And when we speak of ground classes, we definitely do have a bias for CNTA. So if you are an aspiring pilot, consider signing up for CNTAA online. If you are looking for an offline training, okay, we have training center in Mumbai. You can contact us on 9930300426. You can discuss with Franklin. He'll guide you how to go about it. Okay. And batch after batch, CNTAA has had great results. It continues to have great results. Captain Neha has been teaching since 2008. Captain Pankaj has been teaching since 2012. And you will certainly be guided in the best way that there is. Okay? Consider signing up for CNTAA if you are an aspiring pilot.
Absolutely. We have an amazing results and amazing track record, and batch after batch, not just one batch, but for last so many batches, we have got students who are scoring more than 90
Yeah.
in almost every other subject.
Yeah.
So we are we do guide them in the best possible way, and it is not that whatever the study material they had in 2022, the students who were passed out that time, it has significantly changed for the students who are studying currently.
Absolutely.
Because we don't believe in just using the same study material and same questions, because the exam pattern and the type of questions that are asked in the exam, that keeps changing, and there are certain things that keep getting added up. So we keep updating it very, very regularly and keep our course up to date, so
Yeah.
that students get the most important and required information that is required to clear the exams with great marks. Even we have student who scored 99 out of 100 in navigation,
Yeah.
which is like the highest ever in navigation. And yes, Vanch, that's Vanch Alwani. Hearty congratulations to you. Great job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. At the same time, here's the thing. DGCA exams are not competitive exams, okay? DGCA exams are passing exams. More than 70 is a pass. At the same time, it is pursuit of acquisition of knowledge rather than pursuit of acquisition of marks. But marks is a reflection of acquiring right knowledge. That's why the marks do matter. It's not about scoring better than others. It is about scoring the highest for yourself, because you have acquired so much knowledge that is relevant to the field. That is what it is. Because anything in pilot training, in my opinion, in my view, is not and should not be competitive. Pilot training and pilot career is a profession of collaboration and not competition. It's a positive sum game and not a zero sum game. Someone's win is not your loss. Your win is not someone else's loss. That is how we treat pilot career as. In a flight mission, we prioritize that cooperation over competition any single day, and that is a successful flight. Because the point is, each crew member, including the ground staff, including the cabin crew, including the first officer, including the captain, including the engineer, including the all the ticketing and everything staff that there is, okay, there's just one goal, primarily one goal: safety. And when everybody has the same goal, if you are a goal oriented person, there is no competition,
Absolutely.
right?
So knowledge helps in building that,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
not for the purpose of
Yeah.
competition, but it's for the purpose of your own
Absolutely.
competency
Competency.
and towards the safe operations of the flight.
Absolutely. So imagine each person in each of these teams: ground staff, engineer, flight crew, cabin crew, everybody being competent, not competitive. Competitive and competent are two completely separate things.
Yeah.
Being competent at their best, each one of these members, that is the most suitable arrangement for a safe flight. So the likelihood of us attaining that safety is the highest. That's all that we want, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just my necessary or unnecessary 2 cents, which were completely irrelevant of the cost.
But it was relevant for decision making,
Yeah.
whether to join a ground school or not. It's completely your decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think, according to me, in my personal opinion, joining a ground school will definitely help you, because what happens is, initially, let's pick an example. If a student is studying for these exams by himself or herself, firstly, they have to figure out the syllabus, what all things they have to study, from where they have to study, and then the exam pattern, how are the questions going to come. And to figure that out itself, it will take time. They'll reach out to a couple of people, everyone will have different set of answers.
Mhm.
And then the moment he or she goes for these exams, if everything goes well, then that person may clear the exams, and that's really great. But if, let's say, something goes wrong, your 3 to 4 months of time have already gone, and then you get a setback, and then you feel low for, let's say, 2-3 weeks, and then you search for a ground school, and then you join, and then you start, the thing which could have been done in a span of 3 to 6 months, the whole year have passed. Okay.
And who
And
knows
then-
better than you?
Yeah. Yeah. So
You have
yeah.
cleared it in 1 month.
Yeah, so that was the requirement for me, because we just came after COVID from the US, and that was the only attempt which was happening after more than a year. So it was like do or die situation. If I didn't do that thing, then again 1 year would have gone, because there was no attempt happening. So same thing. So if you take, let's say, 1 year to clear those DGCA exams, then you kind of, let's say, if you have joined a ground school, you kind of would have started with your flight training, right?
Yeah.
And so wherever possible, try to save time, because the more time you save, the more money you are going to make. So let's say 1 year delay in DGCA ground school. Imagine that as 1 year delay in joining the airline. How much money could you make in 1 year? Is it equal to 2 to 3 lakh rupees? No.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's how you can calculate, and that's how I calculate it. So
and that's
yeah.
1 year that is subtracted from your total service. So it's like, if someone joins an airline 1 year late, meaning if that person were to be able to serve in an airline for say 30 years or 25 years, that person will get 24 years. That person will make 1 month's 1 year's less salary in the age of retirement, which would be the highest, if we consider, if that makes any sense. Okay, this is not to tell you that you should or should not become a pilot. Okay, let that be out there. First of all, We do not do, time and again we have said this, we do not do this podcast in order to tell you whether you should or should not become a pilot. If you have decided to become a pilot, then this becomes relevant. At the same time, like we said, that is 1 year delay in joining airline, which is for certain because you do not have the license for additional 1 year if you take that long to clear your DGCA exams or clear any phase of that. Okay. That does not mean that as soon as you clear your, you get your CPL, there are airlines that are gonna be open and have vacancies for. Sometimes it is possible. Sometimes there are no vacancies for 2 years straight. Okay. So those are the contingencies that one has to be prepared for. Right. We'll get to that topic, the contingencies after doing this. Then we'll also talk about the financing options. Then what are the interest rates on these? Then we'll talk about essentially what does it equate to final cost, like what it means. And then we'll relate it to how long does it really take to make that much money as a pilot, or save that much money as a pilot, or finish off paying that loan as a pilot. So that is what we'll discuss. We won't be going into details of salary in this podcast, I think.
Yeah.
But yes, you heard that this costs between 1 crore to 1.5 crore. Now 1 crore to 1.5 crore, what does that 1.5 crore really mean for a pilot with respect to time? At least that we will discuss in this podcast.
Yeah.
Makes sense? Yeah.
First, we will do the flight training cost.
Yeah,
Cadet
absolutely. That is
abroad.
later. I'm opening loop to keep them engaged. It's it's like that is what is gonna come. I'm playing chess here, not checkers. All right. If you are still watching, we really appreciate your attention. Time is okay, but your attention is, we really value it. So thank you for watching, viewing, subscribing. If you're still here, we really, really appreciate you. And comment down below that whatever your questions may be, and we often do once or twice in a month, we often do Q&A sessions. We're considering doing lives as well, but we three getting a day offs on the same day is like all stars aligning. Right? Like, I mean, we are not calling ourselves as stars, but the opportunity to do so, the stars have to align in order for us to be able to do that. So we hope that you get it. And so note down your questions in the comments, and give us feedback, criticism, appreciation, whatever that you may please. Okay.
And I feel so good sometimes, like some passenger just comes in and they're like, oh, you do the podcast? I have watched your podcast and it has helped my son to, start his pilot training, and now he's doing flight training at so-and-so school. And I'm like, okay, great. Thank you so much. And then he's like, yeah, it was great flight, nice landing, etc. So
Nice.
it feels really great and good that we have helped someone of you, and that has helped to shape the career of pilot training.
Passenger's perspective of judging landing is only two things. How is your touchdown and how was your braking?
Yeah.
Okay. It is limited to these 2 pointers.
Rest of the things they are
Rest
not aware,
of the
but
things.
still.
Because
But
that's
that doesn't mean rest of the things were bad, so you don't have to.
But I think that's the only thing they can feel.
Yeah.
Rest everything.
They would not know rest of
They
the
would
things
not,
because they were not in the cockpit, and they
Yeah.
are not aware of what is right,
Yeah.
what is wrong. So that is the only thing that they can.
There's something that I'll tell you after the podcast. It was it was a very appreciated landing.
But it was long landing.
No, it wasn't. Never ever. No, why would it be long? No, it was on. Ground class is done. You've already enrolled for CNTAA, the pilot ground school. Now, next point is flight training. Flight training is the most expensive part of the pilot training, and there are other programs that are in consideration to come up, such as the MPL program and all. That will change the whole pricing structure once again, and whenever that comes up, we'll be sure to make a podcast on that. But right now, it has not changed. The flight training costs are essentially governed by the equipment costs and the fuel costs and the maintenance cost of equipment. Meaning, equipment for flight training is what? For flight FTOs, flight training organizations, they must own aircraft or lease aircraft, which is expensive. Aircraft are expensive. Second is those are paid in dollars. So any flight school that acquires aircraft, majority of the training aircraft are made in the US. Cessnas are made in the US. Archers are made in the US. Piper Archers. Diamonds are not made in the US. Those are European aircraft. But usually the acquisition is very expensive. Each aircraft costs a significant amount, and so does the fuel. The 100 LL, the fuel that Cessnas use is again imported. It's a refined fuel that is imported. Now, the fuel prices are higher, the dollar prices are higher, essentially increasing the overall flight training cost in India as well. There are a few flight schools that have retrofitted some aircraft to diesel or something else, and then those retrofitted aircraft are to be approved by the DGCA, and there's a whole process about it. Don't worry about it. The point is, flight training is the most expensive part of pilot training. Why it is expensive? It is because of the reasons that I just mentioned. Okay, and it is not likely to get cheaper at any time soon.
Yes.
It is only gonna get expensive, more and more expensive.
Speaking of it, currently it has
Yeah.
even been more
Like
because of fuel cost has increased because of the increase in crude oil price, as well as because of the effect of dollar price being really, really high, right?
Like Captain Neha did her CPL in less than 9 or 10 lakh rupees.
What?
10 lakh rupees. Okay. And thereafter,
Including multi 12.
yeah, including multi 12 lakh rupees. Okay.
12
Then-
lakh rupees. So she is getting the biggest ROI.
Yeah.
Infinite ROI.
Yeah. Chintan and I. So when we speak about time, it's almost 1.5 months salary for her. 1 to 1.5 salary. Not 1.5 months salary for her. That's what I and Chintan, okay, we did it in 1.1, 1.2.
Yeah, around 1, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And now the aspiring pilots that are doing it is 1.5. So
CR.
crore. Yeah, 1
That
crore.
is
Yeah, we
for
did. Yeah.
Abroad.
Okay, so Captain Neha's CPL has appreciated 15 times at this.
This was back in 2008. Okay, like 2 decades ago, you can say. I started 2006 towards the end. So almost exactly you can
The
say 2
license
decades
have
ago.
appreciated.
Yeah.
12 to 1.5. Same as real estate.
Yeah. And ours has appreciated 50%.
50%,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Over a period of time, maybe flight training will become 5 crore rupees.
Oh, then the programs are changing to MPL, right?
Yeah. It will,
May
because
change, yeah.
what MPL essentially will do is will reduce the requirement of fuel from this. The requirement to 50 hours of flight training, and then rest of all of it will be in the sims. Yeah, hopefully that is structured in a way that it is able to instill competency in the next generation of pilots, hopefully. Because there's a thing about stick and rudder skills. It is developed during flight training, and I don't know how that can be done in it. It surely can be done in the procedural training is much better in the simulators
Simulator.
rather than real
Yeah,
handling,
yeah, correct.
because every time we initially it all feels the same, but as you gain more and more and more hours,
Speed.
you start to notice the difference between
Hmm.
simulator and
And the
the real actual
flying,
flying
correct,
more
correct.
and more.
It's more dynamic in the actual
Yeah,
cockpit and aircraft, and
yeah. It
so
is more, yeah. You start to notice the difference over a period of time, and start to develop those senses. Anywho,
shall we? Yeah.
the point is that when the MPL comes, the costs may reduce. Yeah.
That is for the another episode.
Another episode,
Yeah.
absolutely. So right now, flight training costs, India 50 to 70 lakh rupees. All right, elaborate, Captain
And this
Chintan.
is, it's just Chintan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chintan.
You have to get that Captain.
No,
Yeah.
I would like to be called Nilay even
Yeah.
if I choose to go for
Mhm.
whenever I don't like pleasantries. That's just my personal choice. It's call me Nilay even whenever. Yeah.
Yeah. So flight training in India for CPL 50 to 70 lakh rupees, and that includes your SPL, your FRTOL, and some ground training which is required before we start the training on an aircraft, and then your application of license and all of those things. And then there is flight training abroad for this is just for the CPL, which is approximately 60 to 80 lakh rupees.
So food and accommodation cost is
Cost
separate.
is separate, yeah. So in India, the food and accommodation cost is hardly 15 to 20,000 a month. When we train in abroad, the accommodation cost and the food cost goes up to around 1 to 3 lakh rupees a month, depending upon the lifestyle. Now, the main difference between the cost of training in India and abroad is when we train in India, the cost to get the CPL is constant. If the flight school have quoted 60 lakh rupees, it will be 60 lakh rupees until something major global event happens. Now, when we speak about training in abroad, so if the flight schools have quoted, let's say, 70 lakh rupees for the entire CPL training, so that depends upon the curriculum. So now, when you go to any flight school abroad, they'll give you a training curriculum outline, which will have number of hours
Just
for each
one
stage.
intricacy.
Yeah.
Flight schools abroad won't quote cost in Indian rupees. They'd quote
Yeah.
cost in their local currency, New Zealand dollar or US dollars.
Hmm.
So it keeps on changing as your INR keeps on changing as you're paying as you go.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The
Sorry-
dollar rate.
Sorry
Yeah,
to
yeah.
interrupt. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to cover that. Yeah.
Okay.
So dollar rate keeps on changing. So that is number one thing. Second thing is you get a set hours. So whatever your program is designed, let's say 200 hours of the program is designed, 50 hours is allocated for a private pilot license, 25 to 30 hours is allocated for your IR, and then 40 hours for your CPL training, and then your 10 to 15 hours for your multi training, and 100 hours of solo. So all these things are variable. So let's say if I'm flying the aircraft, instead of 50 hours which was quoted in the TCO, I took around 65 hours for my pilot training. So that 15
Private
hours,
pilot training.
yeah,
Hmm.
private pilot license, the first phase which I told, like 50 hours. So the additional 15 hours which I have flown, which was not mentioned on my TCO, and I was slow, maybe I was slow, I need some practice to practice certain maneuvers, landings, which can happen during the initial stage of flight. So that 15 hours additional on what the fees was quoted for that program in a training in a flight school abroad. And then same goes for instrument, let's say 25 hours of flight time is mentioned, and let's say we do it around 30-35 hours, so that's another 10 hours of additional flight training. That goes for commercial, multi. So let's say 200, your TCO is designed for 200 hours of flight training, and you end up completing the whole training in around 240 hours. So 40 hours is the additional cost which will be incurred by the student. So in India, it's completely different. It's like 200 hours and you get a CPL, and abroad it's very variable. So now let's say 40 hours. So 40 hours is additional. Now to do that 40 hours, you'll be staying additional on what the duration have quoted by the flight school. Let's say 1 year is quoted. Now to do another 40 hours, maybe a month or two, you have to stay additionally abroad. So that is the cost which will be added to your flight training cost, and any fluctuation within that year for the dollar rate, as I mentioned. So yeah, so this is how the training cost is for the conventional pilot program CPL for India and abroad.
So even if you're doing flight training in India, then also the number of hours that you will pay for will be in installments. So if you're paying your second or third installment, of course that will vary with flight school to flight school. And if the per hour rate is 30,000 per hour, okay, and you are making the payment of, let's say for example, 15 lakhs. So 15 lakhs with 30,000 rate, that will be corresponding to 50 hours. Now, if in case on that particular day the fuel prices have increased and per hour charges have gone from 30,000 to 35,000, then obviously you will be, that whatever the amount, 15 lakhs, you will be flying less number of hours. Okay.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because-
whatever that you
because
have
the
paid,
flight-
you have
because
paid.
15
got
lakhs
it.
divided
Okay.
by
Yeah.
35,000
Yeah,
will
yeah.
be less than 50 hours.
Yeah, so
in that
your
case.
your essentially next
Okay.
installment will be higher.
Higher,
Yeah, the next installment will be higher. So
For
you will
50,
end up
for 50
Yeah,
hours.
for-
So if you are dividing into 4 installments, 50 hours, 50 hours, 50 hours.
So 15 lakhs divided by 35 will be less than 50 hours.
Yeah,
That's
got
what
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
meant,
so
okay?
50 into
So
35,000
it
is what you will pay.
based on the rate of flight per hour on the day of installment when you pay.
Yeah.
So that depends on that, because so some people end up paying more in the beginning, but you need to make sure that the flight school is doing okay and doing fine before
Yeah.
you make the entire payment, because that you have to be very sure about.
Yeah, flight schools in India have become okay. That's another completely different story. Flight status of flight schools in India. It's a very difficult situation right now. And yeah, because we are squeezed by time, let's now get to the bottom of this and wrap it up. If you are still watching, that's a huge deal. Thank you from our bottom of the hearts, and thank you for your attention, and thank you for watching this. This podcast really means really a lot to three of us, and thank you for being part of it. Genuinely, thank you for being part of it. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. And yeah, as we were discussing about training abroad, how the fees are not constant when we compare it with India. As you mentioned, what are the variable factors in India as well. There's one more additional cost which is associated when you do your training from abroad, which is the conversion cost. So once you get a CPL, let's say if you do your training from US, you get an FA CPL. Now when you come back to India, you have to convert that CPL into DGCA CPL, for which we need to give couple of checks. You have GFT day, you have GFT night, then you have cross country day, cross country night, and one more check, IR check, and then you get the DGCA CPL. Now that part is called conversion, which usually costs around 3 to 5 lakh rupees. So that is the additional cost which is associated with flight training abroad.
And if recency is not needed,
Yeah.
if recency is required, there will be additional cost.
Yes.
Another
So
3 to 5 lakh rupees for that.
yes. So it's advisable to clear DGCA exams before you go for your flight training abroad, to avoid recency charges, which will be approximately 5 lakh rupees.
Absolutely.
Yes, so this is about the flight training in India abroad. And then once you get your CPL, you have two options. Either you wait for non-type rated vacancy, and then you go for type rating with the airline. And if you plan to do type rating by yourself, you have to select which type of aircraft you want to do type rating on. Usually the cost is around 10 to 15 lakh rupees, depending upon where you do your type rating from and which aircraft you do your type rating from, and followed by the airline training, which is around 10 lakh rupees once you clear the airline interview.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I think that is for type rating. There's no bifurcated cost for
Yeah.
separate cost for type rating.
Yes. So, as if in case you do your type rating on your own, then airline training cost is
Required, yeah.
required to be paid as you get inducted in an airline. But if in case you have cleared your airline exam, which is CPL exam, CPL vacancy, in that case, whatever the type rating cost that you pay to the airline, that itself is going to be the final cost that you
Which
will
is
be
usually 25 to 30 lakh rupees.
paying. No,
Hmm.
it is 20 lakh rupees approximately now.
Really?
Nowadays, yeah.
Oh, it
It's
has reduced?
approximately, yeah, it has reduced.
Oh,
So,
because we paid 30 lakh rupees.
yeah, even I have paid 25 lakhs back in 2016, but nowadays it's about 20 lakhs.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, so
That's
that
pretty
is, in that case, you don't have to pay separate airline training cost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. That is all. Now that sum, that total, 1.5 crore if cadet pilot program
In
abroad,
Mm.
1.1 crore if cadet pilot program in India, and roughly about the same 1 crore if conventional
Abroad.
pathway and
Abroad.
abroad, yeah.
And around 80-90 lakhs if
90 lakh
conventional
rupees
in India.
in India. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is the
That's-
total cost for flight training. As of 2026, we are in the month of June.
Yeah.
Yes, and now if dollar goes up, this again goes up, and next year we again come up with cost of flight training 2027.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, what does it mean for a pilot? Let's get to that open loop that we started in the beginning.
Hmm.
What does it mean for a pilot? A pilot's salary as a captain is roughly about in hand 6 to 7 lakh rupees,
Hmm.
right? As a first officer released with
That is net salary.
yeah.
Gross is more.
released with a certain level of basic experience is usually about 2 lakh rupees. With once you get to the senior first officer, or once you pass the certain hours as a first officer, then your salary becomes between roughly about 2.6 to 3 lakh rupees. That's what in hand. These are the in hand
in hand as in
salaries
after taxes, after deduction
taxes,
of taxes.
after deduction of taxes per
TDS.
month. These are the salaries that you make. And gross would be roughly about 25% higher than that.
It depends on airline to airline and what is the
Absolutely,
contract
absolutely.
that you are on.
So annually a pilot is earning, not saving, earning roughly about, first officer would be on an average. See, even in first officer there are phases: junior first officer or trainee first officer, then there is first officer, then senior first officer. Different phases are there. Captains also have different phases, like captain or senior captain, or different types of phases are there, and salaries for those are different. For then there are LTCs, there are TRIs, there are Ds, different salaries for
Again,
for
depending
everyone.
on hours, it can change.
Absolutely. And then also depends on how long you have been in that particular company. If that company is giving any bonuses per year, or on basis of performance of the company, that all varies. On an average, if we consider an average first officer makes between 2.5 to 3.5 lakh rupees, a captain makes roughly about 6 to 7 lakh rupees. That's what a captain makes. Okay. Also depends on contracts, the type of flying, and so many variables are there. But these are the average figures. So if we consider 3 lakh rupees, that pilot is earning in hand, earning 36 lakh rupees per annum. a captain is roughly making say 6 lakh rupees if we consider, then roughly about 70 to 80 lakh rupees per annum is what a captain is earning. 30 to 40 lakh rupees is what a first officer is earning. This is in hand net earning, not saving. The cost of living is up to an individual. So if we just consider earning, then a first officer, to pay the amount that he or she has spent, assuming 100% of the amount is going towards what's been spent, would be roughly about 5 to 6 years. But then there are increments, because in 5 to 6 years you do become a captain, so your earning significantly increases. So 5 to 7 years is an average period of time that it takes just to pay off the flight training costs in today's time, considering that your flight training on the higher side, the cost was 1.5 crore. Now everybody requires certain living expenses. So if you have spent 1 crore and you're saving say 50% of your salary, that is what it is. Okay, that's all there is. Now this career is not just for 5 to 7 years. This career is for 25, 30, 35 years, depending on the age that you start this at. So it's an investment in yourself. It's an investment in your own career. It's an investment in your occupation. And if you really want to be doing this for rest of your life, then yeah, this is the option that you have to, like, you can choose for your own career. We like it, that's why we chose it. If you think the same, you can consider it. And there are many career options in today's date. You can be doing anything. This is one of those. Pilots end up living a good lifestyle. The lifestyle is pretty good. You get to go to different places. See, I'm not saying travel, okay? Travel is different. Travel is leisure. We don't go to places for leisure. We go to places for work. In that time, we have some time allocated to our rest, and the remainder little bit small period of time that there is, that we utilize for our leisure. Okay, so yeah,
Most of the layovers are like that,
yeah,
except for one which I'm really looking forward to next. That is
but
Seychelles.
when you keep on doing it time and again, humans have this tendency to get satiated with the surroundings. Okay, like, for someone who's looking into this lifestyle from outside, who is not into aviation, feels like this is so glamorous. And when we take a moment, take a breath, and so I was sitting in a cafe in Istanbul recently. I was alone. It was kind of breezy and it was beautiful. Very nice, cloudy, green day. There are cats here and there. I'm sipping on a warm tea, the Istanbul
Turkish tea.
Turkish tea. And I'm like, yeah, we get to do this. It was small time. It was really short period of time, 24 hours later. Many night flights, so majority time into sleeping. But I found a way to go to a coastline. Basically, it was a mall by the sea, and it was beautiful. The
Bosphorus cruise.
Yeah. The not exactly Bosphorus. I did go there, but this was a cafe close to the hotel.
Okay.
And there are ships in that sea, and I'm sitting by the shoreline and sipping on this hot Hafiz Mustafa Turkish tea. And that becomes part of your
Living.
routine lifestyle. And it becomes very normal that, okay, going to Istanbul, what's the big deal about it? Yeah, there may not be the big deal, but as a part of your work, as a part of your routine, you get to do that. That is a good privilege, and we are happy to be having that privilege. So sometimes it does require to take a breath and look into your life that what am I living? There are days that makes you feel that why am I doing this?
Hmm.
Okay. And then there are days like this. So nothing is a red carpet. It consists of both. It consists of hardships and it consists of privileges that come with it. It's a combination of both. And usually in any career, uh, until we really learn how to do it, get proficient at it, it's very difficult. Once you get the hang of it, once you start to understand how this thing works, how things work in this particular profession, be it anything, be it doctors, be it lawyers, be it engineers, okay. Once you get the hang of it, it comes to you naturally. And when it starts to come to you naturally, it becomes more joyful. So expecting that joy very early in the career may not be the right expectation, or may be an expectation that may not feel as fulfilling. As you get the hang of it, as you become truly the part of that industry, then it starts to become more joyful. So if you are
Absolutely.
becoming a pilot, all of us, we wish you a great luck and strength to go after all your dreams. We wish you be able to work hard. We wish you be able to meet the standards. We wish you a great mindset to go after all of it. And yeah, we wish you a very competent, safe, and joyful pilot career. That's all I'll end up with. End this
Absolutely.
with. All right. Thank you for watching, viewing, and subscribing. Now give your notes. I did my yapping.
Absolutely. You want to go ahead?
Yeah. Thank you for watching this podcast until now. Uh, the primary factor for pilot training or to become a pilot in today's time is the cost. Of course, medically we have to be fit. Cost is one of the thing that plays the majority role in becoming a pilot nowadays. So by any chance, like let's say your goal is to become a pilot, there are different ways to arrange the finance for your pilot training. That doesn't mean that you have to pressurize your parents to get loan for yourself or sell the property for your dream. That's never the point. There's always a solution to find the finance. You sit together with your parents. If your dream is to become a pilot, you list down what all things can work in your favor to arrange the finances, and then go behind your dream to become a pilot. Thank you for watching this podcast, and all the best for your pilot career.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for watching it till here. And we are there to help you, to guide you through this career all the way. Having said that, we are not prejudicing or biasing you to become a pilot. That is absolutely your decision. But once you know that and you decided that you want to become a pilot, then of course have a talk with the family. And when you have decided, then yes, you can start your journey in the best possible way with CNTA. That I would definitely be biased about if you
Absolutely.
want to. And we are there to guide you. Thank you so much. And yes, there are, good parts of being a pilot. Yes, living in good hotels and having a layover. But as we just discussed that it's not always the very long one, but some of them, yes, they are. There are, ways to get those. And yes, I'm looking forward to the next Seychelles layover.
Absolutely.
Yes. But
All right. Have a blessed one, guys.
thank you.
Thank you.